Tiger fans, what's going on?
What's up, gang?
I got Trouble back with me again. We actually got some Tigers festive shit here today.
Yeah.
We got Miggy jersey.
So before he continues, today is all about Miguel Cabrera. This is actually my jersey. It's the 2013 All-Star Game jersey when they were in Citi Field. I almost got it signed by him at Tiger Fest, but I went in the wrong line, so I didn't. But
yeah, that was a crapshoot. I remember
today
that.
is all about Miggy. He hit his 500th today.
Didn't we end up seeing fucking Rod Allen instead?
No, we seen Brad Ausmus.
Brad Ausmus, yeah, he was a cunt.
This guy wouldn't shut the fuck. He was so pissed about it the whole time because.
Okay, so this is why I hate Brad Ausmus. I go up to Brad Ausmus. I fucking shit you guys not. I go up to Brad Ausmus. I go, "Hey Brad, what's up?" He goes, "What's it look like?" I'm not even kidding you. Brad Ausmus said that to me. What a prick. But what's funny about this jersey is when Chris got this, he looked and looked and looked. He's like, I am not getting anything that's screen printed. I am not getting anything that is not the real deal. This is real deal. Like,
hey,
you look at this. This is stitched, and it's got the everything's all stitched on. It's got the proper tag and stuff. He paid up for this thing. I was with him.
I spent like nearly $200 on this jersey on MLB.com.
Yeah.
That's like with shipping, and he totally ruined the background thing now.
Yeah, we'll fix it. 2 seconds.
So, about 10 minutes of this video is going to be me fixing this.
So, anyways, today, if you guys don't already know, Miguel Cabrera finally hit his 500th home run. Last weekend, I went to Comerica Park when he was at 499, hoping that he would hit it.
Which I told you he wouldn't, because he was waiting for me.
And I said one of two things in my last video. I said he's either going to hit it really fast to get it over with, because he's going to get lucky and get a pitch, or he was going to start to slump a little bit because he's trying to hit 500 home runs. And his production never really slumped, but you could definitely tell when he was going up to hit that he was pressing to hit it. And
so I'll continue. Sorry.
Pitchers, you were watching this too. Guys were pitching him tough. Like every single time he came to the plate when he was at 499, he was facing guys that was throwing 100, and then guys who throw 92 all of a sudden throw 96 because they were just letting it go. They did not want to be the guy that gave up the 500th homer to Miguel Cabrera. But today, off Steven Matz, in the 6th inning, he got, of course, all of Miggy's home runs have gone this year. Right center field.
Besides 499.
Besides
left field.
Yeah, you're right.
Baltimore.
All of his home runs have been to right field. But in typical Miggy fashion, and I honestly, with how many home runs Miguel Cabrera has hit to the right center field, it was suitable for him because he's always been. I've always said this: Miguel Cabrera is not a home run hitter. He's a guy that is a gap hitter with good power, and he'll even tell you that because when you see guys like Jose Bautista, for example, or Adam Dunn from the other side of the plate, guys that are true home run hitters that struck out a lot but absolutely ripped the shit out of the ball and pulled it, those guys are home run hitters because they never really hit anything the opposite way. You look at Miguel Cabrera, he had so many home runs to right center and right field that were piss missiles that left-handed hitters couldn't hit because he was a guy, his approach was always right center, right field, gap hitter. He was never a guy that went up there trying to hit home runs, and he said that a bunch of times over his career that he isn't a home run hitter. He's a gap-to-gap hitter, but he has had a lot of power, and he was able to get balls to go because of how much strength he generated and how level his swing was and his approach at the plate and his ability to cover both sides of the plate. When Miggy was Miggy, Fangraphs used to do this article about the most inside home runs hit and the most outside home runs hit off the plate. Miguel Cabrera one year, I think it was 2012 or 13, hit both the furthest inside pitch and both furthest outside pitch for home runs in the league. The dude's plate coverage was phenomenal at his peak. But today he finally hit his 500th home run. I guess what we'll do is let's jump into the week that was, and then we're going to talk about our favorite Miguel Cabrera moments and who we think is going to hit 500 home runs next. So this week we played the Angels and we played the Blue Jays, obviously. This Angels series, holy shit, it was one to forget. So let's jump right into game one. Let's get to the 8th inning. And the Tigers and Angels are tied 2-2. And Joe Adell, bases juiced, clobbers a grand slam. And if you're an Angels fan, Adell, he came up and he underperformed initially, and he was actually down in the minors for some of this year. For him to come up, especially, it's pretty much been the Ohtani show, and no one else has really been playing that great. I mean, David Fletcher's pretty okay, but really playing that great. And for him to come up and hit like he's hit, you saw that grand slam.
I was at work.
Oh yeah, you were at work.
Highlights.
It was a piss missile. It was no doubt like none of the Tigers outfielders even moved. It was a piss missile, and they ended up Soto ended up giving up back-to-back home runs. I think Brandon Marsh hit the home run after him.
Yeah.
What the fuck was up with Brandon Marsh this series?
Guy can't even hit his own weight.
Can't hit his own weight.
Went off.
Extra base machine this series.
Just weird.
Absolutely extra base machine this series.
But
the Tigers couldn't get him out.
That's how it happens. It's baseball. It's weird.
Super weird.
You get guys like that. So anyway, they lost that game. Game 2, your boy was at the game.
Go ahead, tell us about the game this week. That was
Shohei Ohtani versus Tarek Skubal. Great matchup, in my opinion. And Skubal matched Shohei for a while. It was a good pitching duel. It happened to work out. Thank God I got to see Ohtani play. So my goal was to either see Miggy hit 500 or Shohei hit 40.
Still didn't get to see Mike Trout though.
No, I wanted to see Pujols. So I was planning this trip way back before Pujols was even let go by the Angels, before he was picked up by LA.
Yeah, you looked at the series as soon as the season started.
I wanted him to come, but it was during the work week, so he couldn't make it. So it worked out. Shohei was pitching, and I got to see him pitch, and and I got to see him hit 40. And as soon as he hit that ball to right field, he did like his no doubt swing, and like I was in the upper deck. I just like followed. I was like, wow. I'm like, it was like 430 feet, and that's one of the farthest home runs I hit. Like he hit in real time. It almost looked like he hit it off like the balcony in that Comerica Park balcony.
You guys want to see something funny?
But
watch when Shohei hit that thing.
This is like the scoreboard there when I took there. So I mean, he's even like from where I was sitting, like you can tell he's a pretty big dude, and like he's got a pretty long delivery, but. He was only throwing in like the mid-90s in that game too. He wasn't like ramping it up.
So you guys want to see something funny? Watch that 40th home run he hit, and watch Robbie Grossman's reaction. He literally like
they didn't move.
He just goes like this and just looks back at the infield. He's like, that's gone.
He didn't move.
So I saw Shohei Ohtani in 2018. Mm-hmm. It was his second from last start before he got shut down because he pitched one more time. I forget the city after. It might have been Houston or it might have been Seattle, and then he got shut down. And then he came back because they told him he need Tommy John, but he's like, no, I'm going to rehab, whatever. But then he came back, and I know for a fact he pitched against Houston, and then they're like, no, his velocity wasn't there. They're like, no, you need Tommy John. And then he didn't pitch for an entire season. So I saw Shohei and Mike Trout in 2018. Mm-hmm. I've gotten lucky seeing the Angels play. I got to see Mike Trout when he was a rookie. I got to see Shohei Ohtani when he was a rookie. I've seen Mike Trout a bunch of times, honestly. I usually go to the Angels game every year.
Man, never have. I wanted to this year because I haven't seen Trout. My work schedule's been all over the place, even when he's tried to come up. But I got to see Shohei.
But
like it's rare to ever get a two-way player like Shohei, especially him having the year he is. Like,
oh yeah, MVP too.
It's going to be the first time since Verlander won it in 11.
Yeah,
MVP
but he's not like he's not going to win Cy. He doesn't have enough. So? He doesn't have enough innings. He doesn't even have a 100-inning pitch.
Oh well.
But he's going to win MVP.
I was more focused on his batting anyway.
Yeah, but
the numbers.
He's going to win MVP without a doubt. Because
as stupid as this sounds, I didn't really dive too much into his pitching stats. I just looked at his batting stats. I was like, wow.
I don't think he even has 100 innings pitch.
Yeah. Well, either way, it's still crazy. He's got like under a 3 ERA.
But
dude fucking plays like
this kid's one of his favorite players. Honestly, one of both our favorite players, Justin Upton, as we were growing up.
Yeah,
you got to see an absolute
hit a laser to left center field, and it's no cheapie there either. But he didn't do like his no doubt swing. I think he hit it so fucking hard.
Yeah,
he didn't even know.
It was a piss rocket.
But it wasn't cheapy.
But Tarek Skubal, after that first inning, he was a monster. He came out, struck out I think 8 hitters. Mm-hmm. He looked great. He matched Shohei pitch for pitch, and he looked phenomenal.
But as soon as the Tigers got down 2-0 to Shohei,
it was over. It was ball game.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's already tough as is. He did give up a home run though to Castro.
Yep,
that was a bomb.
Yep,
Castro hit. Can't take that away from him. But I mean, 3-1 game, it's close. But unfortunately, you're going against Ohtani.
And Tiger fans, too, were absolutely phenomenal this game.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't even mention that. Good point. So almost 30,000 in the stands that game. Cabrera almost hit a home run to right field his last at bat. And, like, every fly ball he hit, that whole stadium would be like, and then, like, as soon as it, like, stopped and got caught, they're like, oh. Like, you can feel, like...
That's what it was like last Saturday.
You can feel, like, the breath come out of the stadium. Or, like, the energy just sucked down. It's... the craziest. I can't explain it. You have to experience it for yourself.
I said that in my last
maybe
video.
On this 3,000th hit, someone else can experience it. But like that was crazy. The energy is insane.
I said that in my last week's video. Like when he would come up to plate, everyone would just stand up.
Well, unfortunately, I had people in front of me holding up signs, so I had to stand up to even like be able to watch. And I was like, well, it's not like I want to fucking see, you know? So I just stood up. I mean, they think they're gonna get on camera. It's like you're in the fucking third deck. It's like I'm trying to watch fucking history here.
But I said that last week. Like he come up, everyone would stand up, and then the crowd would just be so loud. And then when they would pitch, it would get dead silent.
Yeah.
And as soon as he hit a ball, it didn't matter if it was a fly out to center field.
Ground ball.
It was fucking deafening loud.
Electric.
It was like the Tigers had just won the World Series. And I think that's so great because like him and I, we've been to a bunch of games together, like since 2011. And when we went from like 11 to 15, that place was always sold out and the atmosphere was always great. And this is like old like Comerica Park like that. It was loud, everyone was with it. Everyone was like, happy to see the Tigers playing, even though they got swept. But it was an awesome game, and Tiger fans did a great job cheering for Shohei Ohtani because they respected what they see.
Yeah, I would say Shohei was very respected there.
Yeah.
Every time he went up, even like he would get out. You can just like see from like where I was sitting, the smile. Like Shohei respects the game. He respects.
And the fans cheered for him when he hit 40.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Shohei is pretty much who you want on your team as a ball player.
Absolutely phenomenal.
100%.
So let's get to this game that's absolutely my favorite game of the series.
One quick mention.
Yeah.
Okay. I know we're touching on it. If Miggy hit 500 in Comerica Park, that would have been way different than what happened today.
Yeah.
I know Toronto's like half capacity.
Yeah.
But I still feel like they're away, but it should have been louder.
Yeah.
There were some Tigers, you can hear it in the background, but
if it was at Comerica Park, it would have been like they won the World Series.
I wish it was Comerica.
It would have been phenomenal.
And granted, I'm sure he had a lot of pressure. I mean, you could tell by his swings. There was a couple times where I was sitting, like, during his at-bats, he would go back in the dugout. You can see how mad, because he would, like, throw his bat in the bat rack.
Oh, he was getting pissed.
He was getting pretty frustrated.
So
but I don't blame him. That's a lot of weight on the shoulders.
Let's get to your favorite game of this series. Game 3.
How do you know that? Because I was blowing up your phone the whole game. He was at work.
Game 3. I'm listening to it on the radio because it's day game. My boy Zach Short hits a home run. I'm so happy to see him. Shout out Compound Podcast. It's 8-2. Matt Manning's pitching. And don't get him started on Matt Manning. Him and I have been arguing about Matt Manning for the last 2 days. He doesn't like Matt Manning. I do. He's a young guy. I think he's going to be good. It's okay. But he thinks he sucks. He thinks he's Rick Porcello Jr. I don't agree with that.
But here's the thing. If Manning, puts it together, I'll give the dude his props. I'm not going to, if he comes good, eventually I'm not going to not give the guy his due or his props. Just from what I'm seeing, I don't think he's going to be that good. If you do, that's fine. Yeah, I see the smirk on his face right now. He wants to punch me. But that's fine.
Him and I have been arguing about this last
But this is the point about, you just don't know with players, right?
Especially young pitchers.
Like yesterday we were at a card shop and this guy's like, Casey Mize could be the next Verlander because we're looking at autographs. And John's like, well, I could be a millionaire tomorrow.
You just don't know.
You just don't know. Obviously, I want Manning to pan out. Do I think he will? I just see Porcello all over it. I don't know. Hopefully I'm wrong.
So he goes 4 innings, 2 earned. He walked 4 guys, but 4 innings, 2 earned, whatever, cool. It's 8-2.
Oh boy.
Brandon Marsh this game just goes off. Just goes the fuck off.
What was nice about this game is the Tigers' offense have been so abysmal. Because you lost Badu after he had that collision with
lost Hill.
And the Orioles game, and Hill was gone.
Yep.
Haas is on the IL.
Yep.
And you don't have Jake Rogers, Super Trooper.
And then Miguel Cabrera had been pressing to get
500.
hits.
So I mean, with Badu out and Haas, who have been red hot for us, you're missing spark plugs. And the Tigers, they scored 10 runs this game. You're like, wow, here it is. Because the Tigers can do that.
Miguel Cabrera had a bases clearing double.
The Tigers,
Zach Short ripped a homer.
The Tigers have the potential to do this. It's with Shohei and stuff and Mo Bundy, they should have.
And him and I were talking about this earlier. The Tigers' offense over the last 3 weeks and month has been bad. But you got to think, with all the injuries, and Jonathan Scope had 10 home runs in June. He's had 3 home runs over the last 2 months combined. So now that Scope isn't popping homers, and then Miggy was struggling to get that 500th homer because he was pressing to hit it. And then Zach Short, it was in an 0 for 27. They couldn't get a shortstop to hit. And then they lost Badu, and then Eric Haas went silent. Now he's on the Their offense has been bad.
You can just tell they were missing
something.
They're missing something. They're missing Badu and Haas bad right now.
Yeah, and they needed and not having Scope bopping a million homers. So, he's hitting good. He's just not hitting for extra base power.
As soon as the Tigers hit 10 runs,
you thought it was over.
It was but after like the Angels were coming back, they just stopped. Like they
was
weren't
done.
hitting. They were
It was done.
So the Angels they had like so there was a play where was it that Dustin Gorneau dude, whatever his name is,
Yeah,
we picked
Dustin
up
Gorneau.
because with Rogers and them out, we had catchers Linus then. There was an interference call where he grabbed Justin Upton's bat when he was going for one of the pitches. And Hinch got ejected because he was saying like the review was too long for it. Apparently it's like 30 seconds only, but it took like 3 minutes to decide. So granted, could that have sparked a rally? Sure, because of how long they had to wait in between, but realistically, the way the Tigers bullpen was going this game, I don't think it would have mattered anyway.
No. So let's just fast forward to Michael Fulmer on the mound.
Well, hang on. Your boy Derek Holland came out.
Yep, shit the bed.
And then, who was it?
Jimenez.
Then Funky.
Yep.
Jimenez walked 2 batters with the bases loaded. And then he tried arguing with the umpire about strikes and balls. I'm like, you suck. I'm like, throw it in the strike zone, you get strikes. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Every time he throws a ball, like, he sucks. I don't like Joe Jimenez.
He's not good.
He's too erratic. And so the walks are basically the thing of the game. You can't win a ball game if you walk nearly 10 batters. So they walked 7.
So then we get to Michael Fulmer's on the mound and gives up a home run, and then it's tied.
Yep.
And then they give up more runs, and then they're down 3 after being up 8.
Actually, when that home run happened, we were up 1.
Yeah, but then it was tied.
Stassi hit a home run and put them ahead.
Yeah.
And Craig Monroe called it because he was like, with this next pitch Fulmer throws, Stassi, whatever the fuck his name is, he's going to be a little out in front to try to pull the ball. Craig Monroe called it, and Matt Shepard, he's like, in the air to left, that's gone. That's how devastated you can just hear their voices. Like, you couldn't believe it.
And they lost by 3 after being up by 8.
This was by far, I pondered it for a while. This is by far the worst loss of the season.
Not even close.
Hands down.
It wasn't even worse than when they got beat 11-0 against when Tristan McKenzie almost perfect game them.
No.
That you were up 8 runs. That's pathetically bad. And this time last week, you were down 3 games under 500 and in second place. And then you go and get swept by the Angels, who are not that good. You should have took 2 or 3 from them.
That's just embarrassing.
So then we go to Toronto, where I thought we were going to get spanked. Game 1 goes into extra innings. It was a really good pitching matchup. Tigers score 3 in the 10th. Take that. And then Game 2, we kind of watched, because him and I, if you can see by his hat, him and I, and shout out Steven, who's didn't want to be in the video today, we went up to Toledo and we watched a Mud Hens game because, if you guys don't know, Ryan Kreidler, Spencer Torkelson, and Riley Green all got called up to AAA Toledo. And what an experience that was. If you guys have never been to Fifth Third Field, it's a beautiful ballpark. You could sit right behind home plate for $18. The park is extremely nice. There's not a bad seat in the house. It holds 9,000 people. The place is really loud for only holding 9,000 people. The atmosphere is phenomenal. The food there is a little bit cheaper than Comerica Park. Every seat there is perfect. It's a great place if you want to try to get foul balls. It's a really good hitter's park. The sight lines are good. Hands off to what Toledo's got going there. Beautiful park, beautiful venue, beautiful atmosphere.
Beautiful hats.
Great hats. I couldn't get one on my size.
But Torkelson went 0 for 5.
Yeah, Torque didn't do that good. Green hit a piss missile double.
We thought it was going to be gone, but it hit the wall in right center.
So, what they have at Toledo is in first place right now. And what they have at Toledo right now is a phenomenal squad. Jose Urania, of course, still follows us around. He sucks.
He pitched the first
He was pitching a rehab start. He only pitched 2 innings. But they had Torkelson, Green, Ryan Kreidler, Cody Clemens, Isak Paredes,
Akil Baddoo was there.
Akil Baddoo was there. Jacoby Jones.
John's favorite.
Some guy named Eflin Rodriguez, who I really, really hope that never shows up in Detroit. The guy had 4 throwing errors from third base, and he's been in the minors for almost 1,600 games. He has 23 home runs this year, but he's one of the worst fielding third basemen I've ever seen. But they had and this guy named John Rossoff as catcher. They have a really, really good squad down in AAA. If you guys, I know we're going to get back onto the Tigers here, but they ended up losing the game 5-4.
Torkelson struck out with the bases loaded.
Yeah, Torkelson had a couple of chances to really drive in some runs. The Mud Hens got up early. Then they had a no-hitter going into the 5th. Leiter Jr. was on the mound, and this guy for the Indians, the Indianapolis Indians, his name is Hunter Owen, hit a rocket. And Cole Tucker ended up hitting one. They were getting no hit through 5, and then they scored 3. He got a couple guys on, and our boy Jacoby Jones, who's still down in the minors, who's hitting 230 with no power, he ends up bobbling a ball in left field that was in front of him. The ball was literally in front of him. He bobbled it, and it went behind him, and then they scored, and then that was it. But a great venue. Go to Toledo if you guys have never been there before. It's a great park. Really good place.
You can literally they have little bar stands there or whatnot. Right behind home plate.
And you're super close.
Super close. Perfect view.
Really good. And then the Tigers that day ended up getting shut out 3-0. It was really nothing special that game, so we didn't miss anything.
It was cool to see the young prospects, though.
Yeah.
Kreidler actually had a really good play that day. Kreidler had a good play.
He's a good defensive shortstop. Yeah. I was listening to Road to Detroit podcast. You guys should listen to that, too. And they said he could play right now in Detroit defensively. He just needs to work on his hitting. But it was really cool getting a glimpse into the future, getting to see Torkelson and Green hit back-to-back.
Yeah.
And fun fact, they got him at first base. They don't even have him at third right now. Nope. And supposedly, I called bullshit when they said they were drafting him as a third baseman. We all knew he wasn't going to be a third baseman. Yeah. He's going to be first. That's where he played at ASU. So he was playing first. And you can already see the writing on the wall, what's going to happen. He's going to be up next year, and Scope's going to go back to second. And I think this offseason, they're going to have to make the decision on how they want to do this between the Castros with Willie and Harold. Yeah. Because if they get a shortstop, one of the big boys, they're going to have to make a decision on what they want to do, because if Torque hits like he's hitting now and forces his way into the big league club, he's going to play first, because Jamer, even though he had an error today, Jamer's a very good third baseman. And if they get a high dollar shortstop, they don't need 3 bench shortstops between Willie, Harold, and Zach Short. They're going to have to make a decision. So I think what this spells is J Scope will be our everyday second baseman. Torque, when he finally makes the roster, will be our everyday first baseman, and he'll platoon with Miggy. And then Scope will platoon with Miggy, and then whoever we have as our platoon infielder, Harold, Willie, or Scope, they could swap them between Short and whatever. Because I think they have, what'll be nice is they'll have a lot of infield depth for the bench. Mm-hmm. They'll have Scope, Harold, Willie, however they decide how to do it. But Spencer's going to for sure be a first baseman. I don't believe this BS if he was ever going to be a third baseman ever. But getting to see those guys, Riley Green, I've said this time and time again, he is my favorite prospect.
You also kind of have a surplus of outfielders, too. If you're bringing up Green next year, you still have Hill, you have Cameron, you have Badu.
Yep.
That's a lot of outfielders.
The Tigers have
That's not a bad thing.
They have a great problem right now. Yeah. But look at the Dodgers. The Dodgers have all these guys. They made all these trades. But the difference is we got prospects. We don't know their ceiling or what kind of player they're going to be. Like, even Das Cameron, we don't know what he could suck next year and be off the team, like Jacoby Jones. Right. Or Akil Badu could turn into Nico Goodrum after Nico Goodrum's first good year.
True.
I think Nico Goodrum's gone after this year. But, we don't know. Because look at what happened with the Dodgers. They had all this depth. Mookie Betts has been hurt. Cody Bellinger's been hurt. Seager's been hurt. Max Muncy was on the IL this year, Justin Turner. So you Clayton Kershaw, you just don't know. And depth's a great problem to have.
Yeah, I agree.
And then they could trade some of these guys, for more bullpen depth or another starter. Which they do need. But the Tigers have Riley Green's been my favorite prospect out of all the guys. I love what Torkelson brings, but I'm telling you guys, I see nothing but George Springer in Riley Green's swing.
He's got super quick hands.
When
he pulled that ball to right center yesterday, I think it was a little up.
Yeah.
It was just
His hands are so fast. Mm-hmm. The ball makes a different sound off of his bat. It's loud.
Even Badu had a real big double yesterday. It was loud too.
And then just watching him in right, he's super fast. He's got a good arm. You can put him in all 3 outfield positions. He is my favorite out of all the Tigers prospects. I think Torkelson, he's going to be more of the hit you more bombs, play a good enough first base. Mm-hmm. Strike out more. But I think Riley Green is going to be the complete package. I see George Springer written. He's a George Springer type player. It was a great game. So
Green hit a home run today, by the way.
And Green did hit a home run, his first AAA home run. So then today, we get to today's game. Drew Hutchinson came out, finally survived more than 2 innings, actually pitched a good game. It was one.
Finally.
Yeah, against his former squad. And then Miguel Cabrera hits 500. Yep. Then we get to extra innings. Derek Hill had a great at-bat to get Zach Short in. And then the Blue Jays tied it because Gregory Soto was wild as hell today. And then the Tigers had a couple of run inning in the 11th. A big double by Das Cameron. it was a great hit too. And then they won 5-3.
Yep.
So this video is getting kind of long, so let's speed this up a little bit. Let's finish this up by talking about Miguel Cabrera.
One of your videos really long? Come on.
Yeah, I know, we rant a lot.
Special occasion. I'm here.
So I want to finish this video off with our favorite Miguel Cabrera moments. Him and I, even as kids, I can remember the day we got Miguel Cabrera. I can remember watching Fox or ABC 7.
Traded Andrew Miller, Cameron Maven to the Marlins.
And Gorkis, I think Gorkis Hernandez.
To get the D train at the time.
And Dontrell Willis and Miguel Cabrera. I remember how excited I was for that 2008 season because I remember watching him and I have been watching this team like religiously since 03. And I can remember watching those 03 to 05 years.
If any of you guys have Brandon Inch stuff, send it his way.
No, please
He
don't.
loves
I
it.
hate Brandon Inch.
But anyway, you don't need to rant anymore. Put your favorite Miguel Cabrera moment down below.
But
What you guys have.
I can remember from the 03 to 05 years just how bad the teams were, but you could see them improving, kind of like right now. And then after 06 happened, and then like 07 they were good, but missed the playoffs because they didn't have 2 wild cards then. 08, you were just hyped because you knew what the team we had. We still had Pudge, we had Gary, you had JV, Bondo, Kenny Rogers.
Then you added Miguel.
Miguel Cabrera and Dontrell Willis. And this is with Dontrell Willis. He was starting to like get hurt and he wasn't as good as he was as a rookie, but like you still knew what he did as a rookie. He was so young.
You also had a Jock Jones and Edgar Renteria.
Yeah.
So it looked good.
And you knew what Miguel Cabrera was like 25 or 26. And he was already a couple-time All-Star, a bunch of home runs already. You're like, wow, this 08 team is going to fuck.
And they sucked.
They were 0-7 before they got their first win.
Yeah.
It was so bad. But we got this kid named Miguel Cabrera, and Miguel Cabrera hit. I remember when he hit his first home run as a Tiger, and it was off from there. Yeah. Now he's going to end up hitting the most home runs in Tigers franchise history, more than Al Kaline when it's all said, done, and over with. And it's just been, or get close, because I think Kaline had 399, and Miguel's kind of really struggling to get where he is now. He's going to get close. He'll probably have the second most.
Yeah, now since he finally got that 500, that way you can see him breathe.
But just seeing Miguel since 08, and then being away, I remember watching him in PNC in the 2005 All-Star game, or 2004 All-Star game, and watching him in Detroit in 05. And just seeing his whole career like I've saw, and, going to all the games I've saw him, and then just all the hundreds of ball games we've watched of him. Yeah. It's awesome to see. Well, it makes me feel old.
It makes me feel old too. It's crazy. JV gave him a shout out today too.
So to see him get this 500, that was awesome. So trying to pick one moment is hard, but there's definitely a game in my mind that sticks out. You can go first, and I'll do my game.
Probably a weird choice, but there was a game, MLB Network game, where Mitch Williams and Matt Vasgersian were calling it. It was in the bottom of the 9th against Sergio Santos.
Yep. Rayburn
tied the game with a 2-run shot. I think it was.
Now, you're not setting the game up properly. The Tigers run a 10-game win streak on this game.
Oh, well, fucking excuse me. I'm sorry. Anyway.
They were on a 9-game win streak. This would have been their 10th straight win. This is when they were chasing the White Sox for the division.
That was like, what, 11 or 12?
11.
11.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Rayburn hits the shot. Santos throws up the first pitch to Cabrera. Hits a bomb to left field for a walk-off. You see Scherzer come out fucking...
with his arms like this.
Yeah. And Mitch Williams or Matt Vasgersian are like, that's gone. Game over.
The second he hit it.
As soon as he hit it.
It was a hanging slider. He says...
Mitch was like, game over.
Game over.
That's gone.
And the Tigers won 10 straight games.
Yeah.
And that's when the White Sox choked the division away in the last month
that
of the
was kind
season.
of a weird year because they were like, you take it. No, you take it. No,
because the Tigers didn't play that good to start 11.
No.
They came on in the last 2 months to take it.
We all know what happened.
Because there was always that thing with under Lee. They were like, well, the Tigers never can win the division. They were never a second-half team, which was true. If you look from 06 to 10, they choked away a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But in 11 is when it turned. They were a beast in the last 2 months of the season.
Yeah, we all know what happened in the LCS. Nelly Cruz.
Yeah.
That sucked.
So
but that was mine.
My favorite, I want to say this game was either 2013 or 14. The Tigers, it had to be 13 because Prince Fielder was on the team.
13.
The Tigers were playing the Cleveland Indians. And the Cleveland Indians had this closer named Chris Perez. And I hated Chris Perez. He was such a cocksucker. And the Tigers were down 5. And it was definitely 2013 because Omar Infante got a hit in this inning. So they're down 5 in the 9th, or they're down 4 in the 9th inning. And Chris Perez comes out and gets 2 outs. And then the Tigers rally against him. And Omar Infante's up to the plate. It's a 2-2 count. And Chris Perez throws a ball that should have been a strike 3 and end the game. Called it ball 4 because it's 3-2. And then Omar Infante rips a single to score a couple runs. So now they're only up by, I think, 1 or 2. And Miguel Cabrera comes on with 2 runners on base, hits a walk-off home run, and they completed a 5-run comeback walk-off hit with 2 outs in the 9th against Chris Perez. And
I remember that game.
the best thing about it, a year later to the day, they were in Cleveland, and the Tigers did it again in 14. Remember Alex Avila almost hit one out off the big wall?
It was like center field or something.
Yeah, and they did it. So they did it actually twice. So
Alex Avila had some clutch home runs.
He did. It
was kind of weird.
But that will forever be my favorite Miggy moment because Chris Perez was so shook. They left him in. He gave up all those runs.
On Twitter, like that was the worst save of his career he's ever.
That was the worst outing of his life. Yeah. It was insane. That's gonna forever be one of my favorite games of all time.
Funny, 2013, there was another blown save that year by Grant Balfour with Torrey Hunter hitting a home run.
Oh yeah, you and Thomas. I remember you talking about the game.
Thomas was over and we were hitting. That's irrelevant to the thing, but anyway.
But yeah, that was one of my all-time favorite games. Watching Miguel Cabrera hit that because he came up to the plate and you just knew he was gonna end it. And I think it was the second pitch to the AB, he hits it, and Chris Perez walks off of the field just completely broken. And he had another one of those in his Triple Crown year that was an awesome walk-off home run. It was against the Royals, and Luke Hochaver was on the mound.
He threw that fastball away.
And he ripped it right into the Bell Tire sign. Yeah. And Ned Yost said the only guy, it was Greg Holland. He said the only guy that was going to win that game won it.
Miguel Cabrera, yeah.
And it was Miguel Cabrera because Miguel Cabrera came up. It was like first pitch, fastball because Miggy loves jumping the first pitch. Pop right down the right field line, right in, and they all walked off. And it was great. So that's my favorite Miggy moment. What's your guys's? We're gonna end it here. I'll be back next week. This week we got the Cardinals for 2. Cardinals are fighting for a wild card, so it'd be great to play spoiler. His favorite player, Nolan Arenado, he'll get to see him play him for a couple of games. The Cardinals
somewhat at work.
The Cardinals they've got hot, but then they lost. I think they got swept. Mm-hmm. And then we are off Thursday and have a 3-game set with Toronto again.
In Comerica Park.
Mm-hmm. So that's all we got for you guys this week. I'll be back next week. What's your favorite Miggy moment? Congrats, Miggy. Next is 3,000 hits. See you guys.
Go Tigers.